What's up, Sales Ascenders? Happy Wednesday. We are back for another Members Spotlight. In fact, if you would like to be on a Member Spotlight, please PM me. Reach out to myself, reach out to Sean. We will talk with you more, see if this is the right fit, see what value you can bring to all of us Sales Ascenders in this group, because that is exactly what we do here on the Members Spotlight. And today I am joined with an awesome member that is among us. This person is a renowned copywriter. Copywriting is, as we all obviously already know, is the secret weapon to every business. It's words that sell, and every business needs to sell. This copywriter is the $700 million copywriter. Just a fun little fact. He's been dabbling in like 400 plus markets-ish, something like that. But without further ado, I want to bring on the one, the only, Adil Amarsi. What's up, Adil? Hey. How's it going, man?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. And hey, you've been practicing. You got my name right, which is awesome.
I've only been practicing in front of the mirror for an hour. Hey, yeah. It's funny. As I was saying this, something came to mind. And what came to mind was the 700 billion. That phrase sounds really familiar. Is that you, or am I mixing you up with somebody else?
No, there's me, and there's one other dude who is my bro, and I love him to pieces, and his name is Stefan Georgi. If you guys don't know who he is, please go check him out. That guy and Justin Goff kill it. Me, personally, it's just weird how we arrived at the same number, because we literally kind of hit the same number and went, this is weird, we both know it's the same thing, and it's been kind of like a fun little parlay between us over time. But can't say anything bad about the guy. The guy's a great dude. And funnily enough, I have actually known, I didn't know this until he got married, but his wife is another copywriter that I've known for a really long time as well. So I was like, oh, that's really funny. That's so cool.
Question, is copywriting contagious?
It's very contagious.
A little bit. Everyone, and I hope to be contaged. Is that a word? Can I? I hope to catch the bug, because you're like, yes. You know who else? I think to do this right, Adil, there's one person that we're missing for this interview. I think we both know who it is. It's Yoda.
Oh, man, yeah. Yoda.
Just to make it feel like home. If there's any other Star Wars nerds out there, please type Star Wars in the chat. Adil and I definitely fall into that bucket. Guilty as charged.
Yep.
Today is going to be a fun day, because we're going to get to learn a little bit more about Adil. Amazing. Guys, there is so much talent in this group. It's insane. We recently got to meet Adil, did not know him prior, and in London, right?
Yeah, I'm in London.
He lives in London. He's currently in London. His cats that are walking behind him that look like large. What's that?
They look like tiny leopards. If we're gonna give them a name, they're gonna look like tiny leopards.
Yeah, tiny leopards walking around. And so we're gonna get to hear about his story. And everyone listening, here's exactly why we need to be listening to this. A few reasons. Number one, copywriting will help us convert and sell more. We all know that to be true. The second reason, this is the fun little fact that we're gonna be throwing out there, is. So we got Jay-Z, we got Marshall Mathers, Eminem, all these other freestylers that just free flow on the spot with rhymes, beats, whatever, right? But Adil is the copywriter that free flows for any business on the spot. If you want to challenge Adil, comment yes right now.
Yep.
And let us know if that's you, and let us know your industry. Let us know your product or service, and on the spot, we'll be watching the comments, and we'll periodically, randomly just stop, and we'll take a look at your business, and then we'll let Adil go, and then this will be your copy that you can use. So that is his free gift. Go ahead, Adil.
I was going to say, yeah, go for it. I love doing stuff like this. It's always fun. And I think that was the way I won you guys over, was when I just started so it's like, oh yeah, no. So if you guys need anything for copy, let me know. And you guys yeah, so we have this idea, and I just started going, and you guys yeah, we need to record him.
So would you want to be on the member? Yes, it's people just like yourself, Adil, that they're just good people. I'm sure people can already feel you're just a good dude, and they don't even know about your ninja skills and martial arts skills that you can also. So we're going to get into some.
Just exclusively, this is the whole thing, isn't it? Especially with the masks and stuff, I feel more Sub-Zero by the day. It's awesome.
Sub-Zero, yes. Mortal Kombat extraordinaire. It'll be fun, but yeah, I mean, you lead with value, and that's how we end up here. And there's so many people that are just like awesome and get into that. So let's start with how you started with copywriting.
Cool. I'll try and give you guys a very brief version of my history just because I really want to get into the points where I can just start going, bam, tell me about your business. And by the way, while I'm speaking, comment below with your business and what your product or service is. And Chris and Sean will pick the winner and one of you guys, and we'll go straight from there. So my story is fairly, well, I'd say simple, and it really isn't. I was 5 years old. My dad was paralyzed from the waist down for 2 years. Any psychologist worth their salt will tell you the child's brain is formed in like conscious brain at the age of 7, 5 to 7, or some of the most important developmental years
Hmm.
for a human to go through. So during those years that I was going through this, I have an older sister, and it was the 90s. So the house battle royale in the house that we had was Cartoon Network in one corner, hi, versus Nickelodeon in my sister's corner. It was like who got to watch what at what time. So she used to beat the crap out of me. Like, there's no lie about it. She was older than me. She'd sit on me. She'd take the remote out of my hands and hold it up above head because I was tiny and I was a child. So I decided that I would rig the system and sit next to my dad and watch whatever he was watching until he decided to move, like just go upstairs or whatever it is or go to bed, and I would take over. No one could say anything because I was there first. I'd been there first. I like sniped and sat and like basically, yeah, I just basically waited the entire time. But my dad's favorite, this is what shaped me. My dad's favorite shows were a show called, it was the news, so propaganda, clearly. I don't care. People can get mad at me about that
I
one, but
don't
let's just be real here. Okay, just read the book Propaganda and you know exactly what we mean. It's a great book.
Yeah.
Anyway, the second thing is my dad used to love a show called 15 to 1. It isn't on air anymore in the UK, but it was a trivia show. So you had 15 contestants, and every round contestants would be eliminated based on how many questions they got wrong in a given space of time. It was a pretty cool show. But it always
Yeah.
taught me that like weird random trivia would just work out someday in your life. Like I learned some really weird stuff back then, like how upthrust in sciences and like how movement works and what artists did what. It was a cool little like piece of trivia for my young brain to absorb, which of course sparked my interest in everything. Then, of course, we had another show which is called Countdown, which is a words and numbers game where you had 9 letters and you had to come up with the highest combination of words. So it could be like a 9. You'd make up a 9-letter word. That's fine. That's your winner. But you can make
Hmm.
up as little as 4 words, as many as like a 9-letter word, and you'd pick the highest rated one. Or if you don't have one, you got a suspicion, you say that one, whatever it is, and those numbers as well. So that works both logic and emotion. Finally, and this is where the big ringerism, I was leading up to this, my dad watched the home shopping channel, the QVC home shopping channel, for 2 hours a day, for 6 days
Yes.
a week, for 2 years.
What?
That knowledge went in here. So all of Billy Mays' sales pitches and everything that was there, it went into my brain. And from there, I think I was like 13 years, I was 8 years old, and my cousins were with us. And I used to do this little thing where I'd wait for my mum to wait until she was on the phone. And then I'd just go annoy the shit out of her when she was on the phone if I could play on my PlayStation. And she wanted to get rid of me. So she'd be like, yeah, go play on your PlayStation. My cousins would be playing, like watching TV. I'll switch that shit off and go play on my PlayStation. Like, mom told me I could do it, like supersede authority. One day my mom caught on and she just looked at me and she went, you're a little manipulator. You do know that, right? And I was like, cool. Yes, I am. It wasn't a negative word to me. I thought it was like a fun little word. Mainly because like I've been watching X-Men and you have the master of magnetism who can manipulate magnetism. I was like, maybe I'm like Magneto. Who knows?
Magneto. Yes, man, we got X-Men, we got Yoda. Speaking of which, Yoda just informed me that he wants to he likes to move around a little bit. So he just
He
needs to
does.
like, I don't know, stretch his
Stretch his
legs, move.
legs. Yep.
White is so
Intense.
white. Let's go with green. He's hiding in green. Orange. There we go.
Yeah.
That feels better.
Orange. Happy
Um,
orange.
doable,
Um,
doable.
doable color. But that kind of moves me on to when I was like 12. My parents were pulled into a parents teacher conference, and my teacher said, look, your son's very bright. The problem is he's very, very slow when he writes.
Hmm.
He needs like I used to be a perfectionist. I'd get down to like if I missed a single word or a period point that was slightly off in the wrong place, I wouldn't scratch it out. I just rip the page out and start again. Like that's where my brain was. Like could be the last bit on a page
Whoa.
and I'll just rip it out and start again. Because it used to hurt my brain, which we didn't realize at the time. Fast forward, like my parents at this point, my dad was like walking again and he was like, look, come to my office and just spend time writing stories for us. Like that's how you're going to do it. Just produce stories, just get into the hang of writing. Mistakes are mistakes, but you got to produce a story a day. Shortly after my parents separated, we moved to another place with my mom, and then they got back together a few years later. But during this short period, my school commute went from 30 minutes walking to 2 hours a day, so an hour each way on the bus. I'm a weird kind of personality. I'm an ambivert, which means I'm a very shy extrovert is the nice way of putting it. Like put me in a room where I feel comfortable, I blossom. Put me in a room where I feel a bit shy, I will shut down. It's like the weirdest thing ever with my friends. But on a bus by yourself as a 13-year-old, you tend to have a lot of free time. So I had a notepad with me and I would just write rhymes. Hip hop and R&B were main influences for me, but then I'd always have to write a story. So I'd write a story and then I'd write rhymes. That's how my brain used to parallel them. At this point, I was really into art and creativity. So like doing voices was a thing I did. I spoke multiple languages, so it always helped. And
What
then
languages?
God bless you. So I speak Kutchi, Gujarati, Swahili, Kiswahili, which are both Kenyan and Tanzanian dialects, like slight differences. Sukuma, which is a
Whoa.
tribal language, English, and at that time as well, I spoke Arabic. I spoke a little bit of Japanese, a little bit of Thai, and a little bit of Dutch as well at the time.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
A
and
linguist
Somalian.
at his finest. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I hung out with a lot of people from these areas, so I learned their languages and their culture. And if your brain is it has neuroplasticity, especially at that young age, and you keep forcing it to learn new things, it will pick up new things. So that's basically what it was. And I didn't really sleep much anyway, so I spent most of my time like doing things. But anyway, fast forward from that time to the time I'm 18 years old. I'm in network marketing. Me and my upline have a bit of a falling out. I decide to go online, start selling my own digital thing. I write a blog post, it gets about 10 visitors, and there is a reason why that's important. I go to a seminar to know how to make money online about traffic. There I get introduced to the concept and idea of affiliate marketing. So I'm like, great. I become friends with the speakers somehow. Like all the speakers seem to really like me and be like, oh, this is cool. They invited me out for food and drinks and stuff, and I wasn't even with the main party. I was just like a dude chilling out. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Some of them become lifelong friends since then. We've talked for years, we worked together. But what ended up happening was about 4 months later, I decided to go to an event, but as the crew. So same person's event, but this time I'm crewing his event.
Mhm.
I get green room duty. So I'm talking to the guys in the green room. I'm like, hey guys, so what? They're like, what are you good at? I was like, well, I'm terrible at traffic, but I've made like $47 on ClickBank. That was like a highlight for me at the time. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And they're like, well, okay, what are you good at though? I was like, I got 10 people to my blog post and 7 of them bought, which isn't the best thing in the world, I know, but like seriously, I need to get more traffic to this thing. And they just looked at me like I was the dumbest kid in the room, which I was, because they were like, 70% conversion rate, cold or warm. Did they know you? I was like, they didn't know who I was. It was like just a bunch of emails they sent out. And they're like, yeah, there's people in this room that will pay you like 10 grand and above just to do what you just did. I was like, oh, okay. So that's how I started my journey. I didn't charge 10 grand right away. It took me a long time to get there, but in the initial run, my first client paid me $500 for a full funnel. So that's front end, upsell, downsell, 5
Oh my
emails.
gosh.
And I did this all in the space of about 48 hours. I got the entire thing done in 48 hours.
Can anyone get a funnel from you today for
Oh,
500
no.
bucks?
Oh, no. I couldn't even, like, you could pay me 50 grand and I probably couldn't do it in 48 hours. Like, I do not have that skill anymore. That skill, like, came with, as artists would usually say, when you're very, very, at the very start of art and creating
Yeah.
art, you can make as many mistakes as you want and you're happy because you're creating. You're out there in the
Hmm.
field for creating for the
Hmm.
sake of creating. Now I'm like the old man of copywriting. I'm not even that old, but like I feel like a really old man in the industry because I've been around since I was 18. I feel like
Yeah.
such an old dude in the industry that it just feels like when I sit down to write copy, if I don't have it right here in my head, it's not going to be right on paper. And I don't want to waste my time writing a first draft if I know it's going to be
Yeah.
shit. So I sit there and like marinate it in my head and go, all right, we got this. And then I write. So it takes me a little bit longer. Whereas before I could write a funnel in 48 hours and deliver it, and it would make good money, but not great money.
So there's a couple of points that you hit on that I think are fun that we need to go a little bit deeper on for everyone listening. And by the way, we got our first contestant. Congratulations, Namita. We'll be looking at your
Wait, hold on.
business.
Are we going to be looking at it?
In just a second.
Okay.
second.
Okay.
Yeah, I love how red you are. That's good. There's a whole segment that we have planned for you guys. So yeah, there's a process to this. Okay. So but in your story, you go from just having some natural life experiences that start cultivating, building the skill set of copywriting. Did not know all the other languages. My goodness, writing, reading, understanding language and human psychology and people and culture, like, it makes more sense of why, it further supports why you've exploded. Now, we finally got to see the beginning where that epiphany of, oh, I see how this makes people money. Now, when you were sharing your story with us, it was really, really funny. I want everyone else to hear it. Some of an earthquake after or like pre-shock, I don't know, whatever the pre-storm is,
or whatever it is. Yeah, the calm before the storm. There was like a thing.
Yeah, and it happened with your dad.
Yeah, we
And
were gonna get to that.
We were talking like you're writing. You're like, just write stories, and you start realizing that, oh, my dad's making a lot of money with these stories, and I think that's really fun for everyone to hear.
No, what ended up happening was I came back from the seminar and I looked at it was one of the few times my dad and I got along when I was a teenager, because obviously you're young, you're a wild, you're like how do I put this? You're a young bull, and you're gonna lock horns with the old bull. That's just how it's always gonna be. You gotta have that. So me and my dad had that kind of situation. Thankfully, we're in a decent enough place right now where we can where we get along, which is nice. I love my dad. We get along quite well.
Right.
So I just want to preface that. But what I was going to say was, at this point, I came home and I told my dad, because I dropped out of college. Like a lot of people, like when I say college, I don't mean US college. I mean UK college, which is your high school. Like I dropped out at 17. I left like education at 17 because they messed up one of my exams and it really bugged me. Anyway, so I go up to my dad. I'm like, I'm gonna be a copywriter. He's like, oh, okay. And he was like, what do they do? Like he literally like quizzed me as if I knew what I was doing. I was like, oh, apparently write advertising that's really good and they get people to buy. And apparently I'm really good at it. He goes, okay. Because let me go show you something. He goes into the attic, pulls out the classic black binder, the old school black binder. He goes, read the first 3 ads. So I'm reading this. By the time I get to ad number 3, I'm looking. I'm like, this looks really familiar. And he goes, yeah, you remember all those stories I got you to write after school? And I was like, yeah. He goes, remember how you used to deliver to them every week? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, these are your sales letters. Like we used to send these to our copywriters, put a headline, clean up the copy, make sure the grammar's right, and then add a call to action. Like we made this happen because of you. So my dad basically had sold the company when I was 16. Because we got like, what was it? Hold on. 16, 17. It was like just before the recession hit, he sold the company, which was really, really good of him. Like 2008 recession, right before it hit that.
Wow.
He sold it. It was cool. But my dad basically was the guy that went, yeah, we used to send your stuff out with all our mail. Like you did this. And I jokingly, of course, asked him, I was like, so when do I get my cut? And he just looked at me and did the whole dad thing, which is like, do you want an ass whooping? I was like, oh, I'm good. I'll be happy with that.
All set. Thanks for rent. And
yeah. Live here for free. For a little bit longer.
So that's how that went. So I think that's really important for everyone to hear. We all have our story of beginning, of stumbling, more stumbling, and then kind of eventually falling into finding that pocket where you're like, ooh, like I'm going to try this, or I didn't realize this was a thing. I'm going to do more of this. And we lean into it. And that's exactly what you did. You kept leaning into copywriting. Let's kind of fast forward. I'd love to hear what's one of your big, like exciting breakthrough top stories where you're like, just like a big moment in your career.
Oh, there's several. I'll give you guys one of the ones that's personally defined the story for me. And it was right at the start of my career. It really validated this whole situation for me. I told you guys this because I'm an idiot. And my, as T. Harv Eker would say, wealth thermostat, if it's not set correctly, you will always reset and whatever it is. So this is a story of how I messed up and why you want to work on your wealth thermostat. So I was 18 years old. Came out the whole gate like swinging, absolutely brilliant, had the whole thing. And then I heard Gary Halbert say that, hey, if you want to be a real good copywriter, you got to do door-to-door sales. You got to take every job in sales and really figure this shit out, because if you don't figure it out, how are you going to sell in print? Because it's selling face to face, but on paper. You got to be able to do both. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go get some experience as a commission only door-to-door salesman. First week there, killed it. Second week there, killed it. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, all the way to like the 23rd week there, sucked ass. It was so bad.
Dang it.
Like I had 6 weeks of donuts. Like like nearly like think about how many days that is. 6 days a week by 6 weeks.
It's just like because I've done door to door and commission. It just hurts just think I'm just having emotions over here.
Yeah, you just it's that palpable feeling where you like, and it was thank you Yoda, you brought in some blue in my life.
Yes.
But it was a case of like it sucked. But I picked up some invaluable skills, because while I was still doing door-to-door selling, I was still running my copywriting business. I was still getting clients. I was still attending network meetings where I could. I was still trying to find people on Sundays. I was doing what I could. And in the end, someone took pity on me, and they hired me for more money than I knew what to do with at the time. They paid me $3,500 and said, look, we'll give you 3% of whatever comes in the first week. That's it. That's your commission. After that, the money's all ours. And I was like, because he was taking a chance on me. He took like a straight up gamble. I can't say his name because I'm still under NDA with him and the company, but it was a real estate training company in the UK. And the course was £15,000. Like, this is just around 6 months before the big crash in the market. But the way they were doing it was they were predicting the crash, and they're like, here's how you like set your shit up so you come out on top. So like they were very smart about how they did their business. So I sat there and I was writing the letter, and I was doing door-to-door sales at the same time. So like I was getting home around 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'd write the letter till 2 a.m. I'd get up, I'd go to sleep. I'd get up again like 6, 7 hours later, not even 6, 7 hours, like 4 or 5 hours later, start writing again, get ready, go to work at 10 a.m., and then finish my day again at 11 p.m. again. And that would go on for 6 days a week. And on my days off, I'd write. I was like just constantly trying to make it work. Eventually, I mailed the letter out. I got some seriously bad credit card debt. I think I got to like £2,500, which I know doesn't seem like a lot now, but when you're 18 and have no money, it's a lot.
You feel it. Yeah,
you really feel it. And they were hounding me. So like this is during like the 6 weeks of like no sales. I was getting phone calls from my bank going, when are you going to send us our money? And I was like,
my
are you fucking
gosh.
shitting me? It was like the work, and like the anxiety obviously in the field is going to get like you're smelling of desperation. So you can't even
Yeah.
So anyway, this one day I get a phone call from the bank. Mr. Amarsi, blah, 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 blah. You owe this much. When can you pay? Guys, I'm working right now. I'm just doing door-to-door sales. Let me go get the money. Let me see what we're doing. Because just don't call me for a week. I'll give you guys a call back in a week. Great, hang up. Get another call from the bank 10 minutes later. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Fine, hello. And they're like, hi, could you verify who you are? Blah, this sort of stuff. Can I ask what it's about? Because I actually spoke to someone just like 10 minutes ago about this. They're like, oh, no, we're a different department of the bank. We just need to verify a few things for you. We're going to place you on hold. Because they're like, verify what things? Like, we just need a couple of like things from you. And they placed me on hold for some reason to let me go find the thing. And while I'm looking for like my credit card, like my bank account details, and I've got all my like other stuff, like my passwords and shit, I'm looking at my phone looking for all the stuff that I need.
Yeah.
2008, iPhone 2G or 3G at this point. It was like an old school time. So I'm looking through all my notes and shit. And I look for the search function. I get a message from one of my clients, like the client that hired me. He was like, by the way, dude, just a quick heads up. The name of our company is whatever. Like, I can't say the name of the company.
Yeah.
Like, under this,
XYZ.
it's under this name. We've deposited your payment. You should get a call from the bank. But just give me a call back right after. I was like, I'm actually on. It's like texting me going, I'm actually on the phone with the bank right now. Cool. I'll let them know. So I was like, okay, could you please confirm is blah blah like a client of yours or whatever it is? Like, yes, they are. Like, great. We just need to double check. So like me being like the 18/19-year-old kid at this point stupidly comes out with, so could I just ask how much money was paid into my account? Because like I just got a message from my client telling me there was money paid in and you wouldn't tell me. And they're like, oh, we're just here to confirm that your new bank balance is £80,000 has just been added to your bank account. So $150,000 US was the bank account. So I later found out when I called them out, I was like, what am I like? Everything goes, oh, by the way, first week mailing, we did £3.5 million after refunds and failed processes. Wow. So in week 1, we did 3.5 million. Yeah, we just paid you the 3%. We're good with this. I was like, the fuck. Like that was the first defining moment where my brain went, shit, I can actually do this. And also my
Makes
first
sense.
$1 million letter. And I wish I could say that from that point on, I went on to become this samurai of a Ronin copywriter. The reality is my self-esteem screwed me up so badly that I borrowed. I gave all the money that I had, not all of it, but the most of it. I started lending it out to people that I knew needed it to like help them pay off their debts, to make sure they can zero
Mm,
out. Surprisingly, I'm only friends with 2 of those people still. I helped out back in
wow.
those days. But hey, I've forgiven all of that. I'm like, I don't really care about it anymore. It was like 12 years ago, 13 years ago now. Um,
When you
but
said
yeah,
your self-esteem held you back, what do you mean by that?
my self-esteem wouldn't let me charge more money because in my head I was like, I'm not worthy of this. Like it was a fluke that I made that money for this client. Now, here's
Mm,
a recurring theme in my life. If you found out how often I have pulled off the impossible, or done something really ridiculous, yeah, you wouldn't believe me either. Like I was speaking to my friend Leanne about this on her show, and she was like, what's some of the best results you've ever gotten? And I started like spouting off these really ridiculous numbers that are like associated to me. Like Mike Filsaime called my client David Walsh about this, so it's verifiable. Dave, I wrote a landing page for him using a formula that I came up with in like 2015.
okay.
Everyone uses it now, which is fucking awesome. I just love that. It's adding a testimonial to your landing page. It ups the conversions like crazy. If you're not doing it, please do it because it's fucking awesome. David got a 90.6% opt-in rate for a webinar in
Wow.
2016, and then
Wow.
a couple of months ago, Andy Hasong posted in another group like, "Hey guys, that my client's got 91.6% or 91 point something conversion rate on the front end of his opt-in for his webinar. Do you guys want to see what the formula is?" And I'm like, yeah, I'd be curious. I look at it. First thing, I see my layout. I message him going, that's funny. Here's the original layout. And do you remember I taught this? And Andy just messaged me back going, dude, that's so fucking awesome. I was like, I know, I'm not. Because I wasn't annoyed about it. I was just like, yeah, that was a thing. I'm so glad my theory's validated. So I was like
Yes.
super happy about it. So yeah, like that's a ridiculous result. Another turning point for me, like another one of the wins down the line was like when I was 20, oh God, how old was I? I think it was like there was a moment at 25 where I lost literally everything,
Mm,
and I couldn't pay my bills, and I was in a really bad headspace. In the space of about 3 months, I racked up an £18,000 debt that I owed. And the space
mm.
of the following 2 months after working with a friend of mine just to help me like center my brain and help me overcome self-esteem stuff, I cleared that out in 2 months. Like just completely smashed it right
Wow.
away.
That's
Uh,
so cool.
yeah, it's just like little things like that. But it wasn't with 2 clients. I did that with like 6 clients that all paid me 5 grand a piece at the time. I was like, that's
Yeah.
how I got to that point. But what I'm getting at and what I'm trying to impress upon you is the importance of your self-esteem does really affect the amount of money you make because you can have bad self-esteem and make a crap load of money. Of course you can, but you'll lose it a lot quicker. If your self-esteem is quite good, you get to that money, it's not going to exacerbate any bad habits.
What do you feel helped you stick with a good self-esteem?
I have like a routine. I have several lists I keep with me all the time. One of them is my self-care list. The other one is my self-kindness list, and my third one is my self-love list. And I have they all have like things, and there's another list called creatives. And I have 10 items on each one of these lists, and I have to do at least 3 of them to show that I'm kind to myself, I care for myself, I love myself, and I'm still creative.
Awesome. So those patterns, those habits,
Stick.
thinking practices, yeah,
Yeah.
help build it.
And as you guys can see, big ass bookshelves of lots and lots of books. That helps also keep my self-esteem in check because it allows me not to have too big of an ego.
Got it. Got it. Man, that's really powerful. We're getting a couple comments in here. Namita says, OMG, Sean is saying such a unique perspective, really helpful. And that's awesome is another one. We got to just give a shout out here. Faithful Facebook user. We always like to have fun. Anyone watching this on StreamYard, if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, you can, I don't know, it's like literally like a click or two, but then it'll actually show your face and your name here. So I know there's a couple of faithful Facebook users here with us today. If you guys do that, we'd love to see your name, love to see your face. But thank you for participating. And I know that's really powerful. There's good feedback coming in. Adil, thank you for opening up, sharing some of that stuff because that is what we're all going through entrepreneur island is actually an island and it's a thing. And the perceived weight, the actual weight, both of them, of pushing through, developing skill, putting yourself out there, building relationship, and bringing value to the market is a really vulnerable place. I love the way you phrased it. Copywriting is like art.
Yeah.
Kind of indirectly earlier. It is. It's an art. There's some science and formula and patterns to it, but man, the art and the life and the love that pumps through, that really like creates connection and sells, is powerful. So I think now getting to know you, Everett. Yes, thank you. 2 clicks. Thanks, Sean, for putting that in there. I think it's time that we bring people into our world a little bit. The secret segment, which is it's the free flowing, take a look at someone's business. So in just a second, like I need you to look at Adil, Namita's business. All right. So this segment, to kick it off right, here's the thing. Can you go ahead and look a little bit closer and read this?
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Yep.
I gotta do this thing. Cue me up. We're gonna have to.
Yes. Can you see it now, Adil? He actually looks at your business. This is this is how you know
we were practicing this right beforehand because we're giant kids. So my business is Find, Flip, Profit Mastermind, an academy where I teach dancers how to find and flip items on eBay for a profit. Okay, that's awesome. What is your biggest struggle? Like, what is the biggest thing that I can help you with in terms of copy? Would it be the strategy of helping more coaches? Would it be to tell your story better? What would be the most impactful thing for you that when you walk away from this call, you're like, holy crap? Like, and I don't care what it is that you ask for. You can ask for the world. I'm literally giving you the world right now.
And so Namita, please respond, and we'll give you a second to respond on that one. That's actually a little bit easier to look at, so I'm going to go with that one. That's set up there, and let's just there we go. Now we got Yoda, some space. I just wanted to click buttons. That's my excuse. Let's see. Namita says, aha. So we'll wait for just a couple more seconds for her response, and then while this is taking place, I thought I saw one more. Oh, I did see one more. Namita, please respond on the biggest change, biggest aha. That'd be helpful. Faithful Facebook user. One of my business. Yeah, go ahead.
I think his name is Adrian.
Adrian.
Yes, Adrian T-side, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you can see it on your side. I'm blind on my side. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Teasdale. Adrian Teasdale. Sorry, Adrian. I messed up your name there.
No worries, but he's talking about competitormonitor.com, business intelligence for retailers and brands. So these are the 2 cases that we have for today. Let's see, Namita, waiting for your response here. And if we don't...
Question for Adrian. Sorry, I was just going to say same question for Adrian. How would I best be able to help you, and what would be the best result? Like, what would you like me to do to give you? Would it be the strategy? Would it be the copy? Would it be like an email idea and sequence? Would it be a promotion? What would it be that would be the most valuable to you?
And let's do this. So Namita is part of one of our programs, and so I happen to have a little bit of insight on this one, Adil. So and I also happen to know that she's working on a webinar, and it could be a short version webinar, even if you went through like maybe the process, but that just to give some more context, webinar would be the setting. And yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just listening. I was agreeing.
Okay, dramatic. You're like, oh, glass removal.
Wait, hold on. I gotta do this right when I start.
Yeah.
When I do it, I gotta take them off.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's okay, totally right. So webinar, find and flip, and she helps dancers. She loves dancing. She finds other dancers, and so if other dancers, want to make some extra cash, £1,000 a month, they, to get to save to go to their next dance event. I know we're not traveling a ton now, but the world's going to come back. It's going to open up. I'm being optimistic, and then. There's also, to just buy that cool outfit and, get all the gear. So those would be some outcomes, some things. And she helps people make an extra $1,000 a month with her Find, Flip, and Profit Mastermind.
Okay. Okay. I gotta do this right. So I'm going to have
now. Yes.
Yes.
The Adil take a look section.
Has to be done. All right, so on to the fun stuff. So if we were doing this as a webinar, the way that I would do it is you got to first realize exactly what it is that people want. So of course they want to make more money. They are dancers. They are having that whole pain. What are some of the biggest pains they have? I'm living with other people that I don't really want to live with. I don't get to dance as much. My space isn't my own. I don't really have the capacity to support my passion right now because I've got to either work a second job or I can't do this or whatever it is. Um, and I really want to have that freedom. So those are kind of the key concepts that you're looking at. Those are like the top down views and angles you can really use. So pick the one that goes with like in order most important to next important and so on until it's like 3 levels deep. So like fifth level, like 4 levels deep. So third, fourth level could be something like I want to move out and live on my own. That could be a fourth level desire. A third level desire would be fourth level desire was like I want to live on my own and I don't want to live at my mom's house anymore. Third desire could be I don't live with roommates anymore that I don't get to pick and choose. Second layer desire, like near enough the surface, would be something like I want to pursue my passion of dancing. And your top level desire is I want to make £1,000 a month so I can dance some more so I can fulfill desire level number two. Like, so if you like work backwards and you have that layered in, now when you're building out your webinar, a lot of people have like 2 different ways of doing it. So if they do like the webinar, they go with the concept of, okay, my webinar is going to teach this and I'm going to walk you through the process and then make you an offer at the end. That still works. The other one that people use is I'm not going to tell you a lot. In fact, I'm just going to inspire you with a bunch of what and then show you how to do the next thing when you get into my program, like how to do this, which also works. Key ground, mix the two together and add in a little bit of a conversational tone so you feel like you're talking to them. So what does a conversational tone look like? Well, if it's a stranger that you just met that wants to hear what you're saying, think of the olden time when someone would stand on top of a soapbox and start yelling to an audience. They wouldn't just yell out to an audience about who else wants this. I mean, there's some would, but not always. Not the smart ones. The smart ones would like shout out a direct problem, like think Grandpa Simpson in The Simpsons, where they create the love cure, a miracle cure for like love woes. And it's like, just think of that pitch. Go watch that pitch for inspiration. You'll see how quickly he jumps up and grabs attention. Do the same thing and go just call out your audience to be like, are you a dancer that wants to blank? It's like, are you a dancer that's frustrated with the fact that you can't dance as much as you want? You don't have your own space. And more importantly, you've got to work a second job just to support your dance career. Any one of those could run with it. In a moment, I'm going to share with you how I've not only gone ahead and helped myself, but several other dancers through my Find Flip Profit Mastermind Academy to show them how to find how to use the internet and basic e-commerce knowledge to find and flip amazing pieces of clothing, jewelry, and art at literally no cost to you. It's all profitable to you, and I'm going to show you how to do that with my system. But more importantly, and we're going to cover the big 3 elements. They're going to show you how to make this, how to use this mechanism and how to make it work for you. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself because they want to know who you are. Go right into it. Hi, my name is Namita Dash. This is what I do. This is my dance career. This is what I've done. The way that I came across this particular problem that I want to solve for people, the way I came across this formula was I was trying to do blank. Whether it was I was trying to build my own business, I was trying to support my dance career, I was trying to support my, I was at university, I was at college, I was at home, I was doing a thing. And I found some clothes super cheaply on on eBay, and I managed to find them and flip them on another website for a higher profit. Or I found, I'd go to vintage stores or whatever it is. I'd find specific vintage stores, figure out how to evaluate them, and flip them online the same day. So by the time I walked out the store, I already had an ad up ready to go. That could be the thing. If it wasn't, that's a really cool way of actually putting it in as well. If you did do that and you do that, that you can take the photo in store, in a vintage store, upload it directly to eBay, and by the time you left the store, it had already gone live. So by the time you spent the money to buy this item, well, guess what? You could, at some vintage stores, you can just say, look, I'm going to put down a £10 deposit or like a $10 deposit on this right now, but I'm going to come back tomorrow to pick it up. Can you just hold this for me? You've taken the photo, you go home, you put a 24-hour dash on it, whoever pays whatever amount it is, as long as it's higher than the valuation of what you paid and you make your money, guess what? You now have a profitable income coming in that way. And that's that would be like a mechanism that is really obvious as a way of working. And I don't know if you did that, but if you didn't, take that for free, run with it. Like use that as an example of something you can actually use to show people how simple your system is. and then go into the specifics of like, I came across this hurdle, this is how I overcame it, and then I started to realize other people needed this hurdle and they wanted this help, so I started to reach out and help a few more people. And what I'm going to show you right now is the most refined version of a very rudimental system that was quite crude and a little bit like unrefined, and now we've just streamlined it so you don't even need to do you don't need to do half the stuff we were doing at the very beginning. And especially now with COVID, you can get through this a lot quicker with a lot less hassle. So these are the, you can see 3, 5, 7, whatever it is, ideas, secret, core drivers, principles, strategies, whatever word you want to use, not tactics, because tactics don't last. But you can put that in there, and you can just say like principles or strategies or something like that that allow you to build the business that you want, where you can find and flip items on eBay for a profit. And then you give them the 3 big things. And these 3 big things, you don't give them like, number 1, component 1, sell more stuff. Yeah, that's obvious. Give it a cool name. Like, come up with a name to a thing for it. Very recently, for a client of mine, we came up with their 3 secrets, and I didn't like the way he positioned the 3 secrets. So the 3 secrets then eventually became the sales, the communication, and the wiretap. So those were the 3 big elements of making his site work and how his business worked. And we just came up with the name the wiretap because it sounded cool. Like, the truth was, it's just asking your audience and keeping in touch with them. So you're essentially tapping into your marketplace and finding out what they want. Just a fun little way of saying it, the exact same thing. Cool. How much is enough to reveal on a webinar? I will actually answer that in a moment. So you reveal these 3 big things. You don't actually tell them what to do, how to do it. You tell them what to do. So step number 1, do your research. Find out exactly what this item is. Try and find the lowest price point that you can find. And then step number 2 is you list the item on eBay using our super secret formulas of what we tell you how to do this and what you need to do and what you need to basically make sure, what type of elements and photos you need to take. Step number 3 is put it out there and how to gain traffic to it. So you can use a couple of channels for traffic, such as SEO. You can use eBay SEO. You can also use like paid advertising to actually get eyeballs to there. And then including our secret source. Your secret source could be that you have a mailing list, and that's how you sell all these items. You just mail your list all the time that you have new shit in store, or new stuff in store. So how long is a webinar and how much you should really reveal? You can do a webinar in 45 minutes to 60 minutes. That's completely fine. 90 minutes, 2.5, 3 hours. Those go on just because it depends on the speaker and how they're doing it. How much content you should reveal and what you should share should be just enough to whet their appetite to buy from you. Like, it'll be like, I can do this. You want to have like the 5 to 10%, like the top 10% of people. You want them to be like, I understand. Yeah, I'm going to go do this. And they go do it and they take action. They make money. But the other 90%, you want them to be like, I know I can do this, but I need help. And that's where your package comes in. You help. Now, when you do the reveal of what you're doing, make sure you have like a small Q&A section in between where you're like, by the way, guys, if you have any questions, please ask them and we'll answer them at the end. And then just move forward. Do the rest of the whole, like, here's what we're doing. Here's what I'm going to be showing you. Here's what's going on. You can use a very basic, simple breakdown package. Key elements to remember: don't put your bonuses in this section. Put your bonuses much later on. There is a reason to this. So when you're talking through this entire process of how you would put together this, what you've done, how you do it, what they're getting access to, then you do the price reveal. You justify the price. You've shown them testimonials. You give them a guarantee if there is a guarantee. And then after you've done this, you open up the bonus to say, just to make this even more of a no-brainer, here's what we have as bonuses. You list them out, you add the values together, and you do a total page. Now, when you're doing your total page, don't make the total number so ridiculous it doesn't make sense. Like, it's $15,000, but you get it today for $50. It's ridiculous. No one's going to believe you. Like, if it's $15,000 of real world value, like for me, like one of my programs is $1,000, and one of the bonuses we have is a 20 grand value. The reason it's a 20 grand value, it's two sales letters that I wrote for clients that got them really high conversion rates. And my people basically get to dissect them and look at what worked and how my formula applied to that. So they get that as part of the bonuses. So it's a legit real world thing I sold for 20 grand to get those things going. Whereas if you have something that is like a digital training, put the price in as what the valuation is, but don't make it so unrealistic to your real price that like loses the customer in reality. Like, you do have to suspend some level of disbelief, but don't suspend disbelief to a point where it sounds magical and untrue, because the old maxim does live true. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So always keep that in mind. So you want to make it believable, but absolutely incredible at the same time. So Thereafter, after you've done this and revealed everything, you reclose, and the reclose is reminding them of everything they're getting, what the three elements of the system is, how it works for you, what testimonials you've got already, and they can go and buy. Now, this is a secret source close. This is a close I've only taught a couple of times, but we're going to teach it right here, okay? It's simple and it's exclusive for webinars and VSLs, or even if you're on stage, it works really well. Step number one, make sure you either have a browser open with only 3 tabs. It's one way of doing it, or 2 tabs if you do it another way. Or you have the screenshots in your slide deck. And what you do is that once you tell them, go to this link to buy, or like go here and click the order button, you'll be taken to our checkout page, or like you'll be taken to our not to a screen page, to a summary page, like a webinar summary page where it tells them everything they're getting, the price, why it is, just reaffirms that they're on the right page. Don't tell them to go to that page and just stay there. Make sure you go to that page and show them, by the way, you'll see this page. Scroll down with them and say you will click the order button. When you click the order button, just tab over to your second tab, which is the order form, and say all you do is fill out and this is a custom Adil close, which is enter your regular details and complete your investment. Today we can just say put your, this is where you enter your information, or this is where you put in your credit card details or your payment details, whatever it is, on this page. And then once you successfully like joined up, tab over to what a thank you page would look like for them, whether it's your membership portal, whether it's the Facebook group they get to join, whatever it is. Put that as the third thing, so you'll be immediately allowed to join this and get access to this, this, and this, and everything will be delivered to you. Doing that alone takes them from the perspective of I'm watching this passively to I've mentally actively gone through the buying process. Doing it here once means it's more likely they'll do it in real life. It's a psychological trick that really fucking works, and it works like gangbusters. So you do that as you close, you go in, you do your FAQ section, and then you wrap up your webinar with just one last call to action, a thank you, and sign off. But that's essentially the structure of how I would build a webinar. And something like that will take you 60 to 90 minutes to get through.
Boom! Oh my gosh, and Adrian saying some great knowledge sharing already. Man, what's cool about that structure and flow that Adil just brought us through is he described it as, the webinar process, but even everyone listening in sales, I'm sure you guys picked up on this. If you're doing your sales process and you're on Zoom, even walking through here's where you are, here's what we're going to do, here's where you're going to go or can go, walking through the buying process, mentally making it easier. It applies. These are principles that apply multiple places of the sales process. That's awesome, Adil. Oh my gosh, the chat's blowing up. This is amazing. OMG. People are so excited. Boom. Right on. And so we just have one more today, and then I'll come back to you, Adil, for our final question. And this final setup for taking a closer look will be with Adrian. And so the closer look, and this one basically just like hides our faces because there's like so much here. This was his response to the problem. Let's take a look at it.
Okay, for me, with us being in a real niche, it's how to capture people enough for them to get a discussion with us. Okay, so my question is, who is your audience? Can we actually bring him on board? Like, can we get him online? Like, Adrian, do you want to jump on board with us?
That is a good question.
Well, if not, then I'll answer this correctly. So, competitive monitor. I'm just going to quickly go through what he wrote in the comment section.
Yeah.
Cool.
That gets me every time.
Yes,
Sean's like,
looking at you, looking at you. I'd say I'm struggling more with reading stuff as opposed to most things I read. Focus on B2C. No. Okay, I'm just trying to find Adrian's thing. That he actually did describe this a little bit more in depth for me, which is brilliant.
For retailers, oh yeah, let me get that for you right here. Boom. One of my business is competitormonitor.com. Intelligence for retailers and brands. I'd imagine like you're managing competitor intel data, and other retailers and brands are just curious on that because they're keeping a pulse on the market to make some educated guesses.
Yeah.
And Adrian, let us know if we're close.
Actually, I saw it. It's more like, I think it's not a comparative site, but rather what it is, it just shows you how much like some of the biggest brands are selling something for, and then give you the average price that you can sell to it as well, which is a really good idea if you're stuck with pricing stuff. This is a great place to find out how to price things. So that's
There is one other comment he put in here. I'd say I'm struggling more reading stuff, as most things I read focus on B2C and not B2B.
Yes. So if you're selling this B2B, it's not similar per se. The formula that I would use if it's something like on your landing page like this to get people to, actually not even your landing page, sorry, the question, if I'm not mistaken, and please remind me, Chris, if I am, it's to start a conversation with people so they can approach them for work, correct? And like go to their website and get to know them a little bit more.
Some more. He just I think had some more comments came in. No, we take one retailer and we compare your competitors. If you are more expensive than your competitors, then we will show you this. But you also don't want to be too cheap. Okay.
That makes sense. Okay.
So it seems like it's a pricing mechanism and just being aware of where you fit in the marketplace.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just Adrian, just real quick comment down below. I know I sound really dumb by doing this, but I like to get as clear as possible because I've always found clarity is king. Oh, correct. If someone comes on a website, we would like to capture them straight away. Think our site isn't clear enough, though. Okay, cool. Imagine competitive realtors, blah, blah, blah.
And I think just to kind of highlight something real here, like Adil is on the spot, and Adrian, like us just kind of talking through it, having limited information is really helpful because you're probably listening to us being like, oh no, this and that, but you're literally getting to experience our natural thought process of learning, which is probably what most people are doing, but we can't see and see their faces, hear their voices while they're looking at your website. So I just want to highlight this little section. I was like, actually, this part right here, like I'd pay money in our business to like see this experience. Anyway.
Good to know. It's very good to know. Okay.
The true salesman and copywriter. Oh, he would pay money for that. You caught my attention.
Delivering significant advantage. He's going to by constantly monitoring and analyzing their product price and customer reviews. Okay, so I actually don't mind your landing page, but I can see where you're having a problem like right away with that because the language I get it says what it does, but I want to say it better. So the way that I would say this better, and I may have to disappear in a couple of minutes for about 30 seconds because I need to go grab my MacBook charger because I only realized I'm down to 10%.
We need some battery power.
Yes, we need some battery power and some water for my battery power, which is lovely.
Why don't I'll let you go do that right now.
Chris, I was going to say, let me just run through this real quick because I actually have the idea of how I would do this. Sorry, it's just while I'm hot with it, I just want to shoot with a hot hand.
Do it. Please do.
Please don't bench me, coach. All right, so here's how we do it. It's essentially the way that I do it is like it is an innovative competitor intelligence for retailers and manufacturers. I would add in the words like you just there because it kind of like opens up that conversation. Yes, you are selling to a business, but the business is a person. And you just say delivering a significant so that would be a significant advantage against your competitors by constantly monitoring and analyzing their products, prices, and customer reviews, ... and delivering them to your inbox directly to your inbox. That like ... and delivering directly into your inbox is perfect because now it draws the line to why do I need to buy this? Why do I need to opt in? Because the rest of the copy, believe it or not, as I said, it's good. It tells what it needs to do. So there's not a lot of tweaks I need to do to it. It's if you add that one section in, it's a direct call to action for what they need to do. Or you can even dress this up in another way, which is by saying something along the lines of enter your best email address to have a significant advantage against your competitors by constantly monitoring and analyzing their products, prices, and customer reviews. That's a simple way of starting off because it's going to be direct to my inbox. That's fine. The number one competitive intelligence tool, that's fine. Monitoring analytics. Right. So you've got this page here, and then it kind of like drops off. There's like a bit that just drops off. It tells you what it does, like the 3 things, and it has images, shows you the monitoring, but there's no direct call to action. So the direct call to action here would be something along the lines of where it says analyzing 1,500 competitor reviews, delivering intelligence across all sectors and customer platforms. Okay, so in that section, delivering innovative intelligence across all sectors and customer review platforms. Underneath that, I would write, here are just some of the markets we we have intelligence on, and then you just show that. And then directly underneath that, instead of 10,000 monitoring, analyzing, whatever it is, actually keep that there. Underneath that, what I would write would be, why not take us for a spin? And then tell them how long they get as a free demo. Like if I click free demo right now, it says I need to sign in. But tell them how long the demo is. Is it 3 days? Is it 5 days? Is it 7 days? Is it a month? What is it that you feel comfortable as a demo that you can give them? So that's what you put in there by saying, take us for a test drive. Use our X day use your X day free trial today. All you have to do is enter your email address below or enter your, because when they click on it, obviously they get another piece of software. They get something else pop up. You just say, all you have to do is click the get a free demo button and enter your details, which will allow us to send you and set up an account for you for a temporary account. Not only that, you'll receive emails telling you how to use the software in the best way, or like how to use our competitor monitor in the best way, what to avoid, how to make sure that you actually use this to the best of your ability, and what our customers have been saying, including their big advantages and so much more. So that's the 5th point, and so much more. You put that in there, and then you add another, you just put the get a free demo button and then sign off. Just sign off as either you or the head of the company by saying, we look forward to working with you, and then just have a signature mark there. It sounds really cheesy to have that. In fact, one of the other things I would add on to this, if you can, I would put in a testimonial, just a couple of testimonials of people just saying, look at how good this working with Adrian is. It's what you do. That's what you got to do. And sorry, I'm just reading Adrian's comment right now. I didn't expect this either. Appreciate it if you hit oh, cool. Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's just that's the way I would do it. Is I basically put that together and have that call to action underneath. That way you start getting demos. Your very first email, and yes, we are going to go to a ridiculous place known as email. Your very first couple of emails have to tell them exactly who you are. Email ones, who you are, how to use the software, and how to set up your own mailbox in your own folder in their inbox, so all your emails go directly in there, so they can come back and research and find them all in one place. It's 1. 2, also say to them, get your IT person to do this. Get the person in charge of IT to sort this out for your inboxes, so it goes directly to your inbox. Fire off the email to them today. Don't delay it, because it's great. It gives them something to do right away, and also builds your authority because you're getting them to do something for you. Follow that up with a couple of emails about who you are, why you started this company, what you guys have done, what are your competitors saying, what are your big advocates saying, why it works, and how the software functions. And then say we're going to check back in 7 days with just a quick breakdown. And in that 7-day period, send them an email 3 days instead of 7 days in, saying, hey, we just shot a very quick 2-minute walkthrough on how to use the software. Here's the 2-minute walkthrough. And then on day 7, send them another message, be like, hey, just if you have any questions, we're holding something to talk to our customers to help them go through this entire section. Just email us back and we'll schedule a time to speak to you. That's where you do your sales call, by the way. And as they stay on, remind them as they get closer to their time of expiration. Tell them, look, our time is running out. You're gonna lose this. Blah blah blah. Get it now. And that's basically what clicks. I've got 4% battery, so with that being said, and that mic drop, I'm gonna run downstairs and get me my charger.
Yes, go for it. Go for it. Adrian, so while he's making a run for it to get some battery power, I noticed, Adrian, and thanks for staying close by and participating here, testimonials are difficult mainly because of NDAs. We're working with some large brands and smaller ones, but I should try to get some. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't break any agreement, and got to be respectful of other people's brands and awareness of how their brand's being used. I wonder, and Adrian, I'm just shooting from the hip, talk to your attorney. I'm not an attorney, talk to your attorney, but I wonder, maybe it's not picture or video, but even if it's just a sentence or two, I'm assuming there's still going to be an approval process for that. But it might be easier to say, hey, here's a sentence, here's a couple sentences. We're just using, CEO's name, founder's name, CMO's name, whatever, etc. And would you approve this? And then you could have that in writing. But that might be something that Adil can speak to a little bit more. But because I think that's a legitimate thing that not only you but other people watching are going to face when it comes to testimonials. And Adil, first of all, are we powered back up?
Yes, we are.
Oh, and there we go. We need to see you. So perfect. Yeah. So Adrian had a good question just about NDAs and actually being able to use testimonials. How would you work around this objection?
Okay, as a way you can do that is there's two ways. You can message your client and say, hey, can I get a testimonial from you, but not from your company, just as our software works with your name or with someone in the company that actually works as a PR person. If that's a way that we can get around it, awesome. If that is not a way we can get around it, obviously you already have the banners of like who your companies are that you've worked with without getting testimonials, like Ford, Halfords, Wex, AO.com, Wheelbase, just chain reaction cycles. You have these, and you can just, instead of like breaking NDA protocol, you can say something a little bit more. You can go into a little bit more of a conversation with them. Like, actually, like, sorry to just jump in. Like, one of the things you can really do, because my brain was like flipping. One of the things you can really do with it is essentially what you do is you reach out. You don't talk about the testimonials, but you just say, we've helped companies like their closest competitor. The word like is an amazing little like it is in my opinion one of the best words in the English language that gets you out of trouble if you know how to use it. So you can just say we've worked with clients like, or the competitors of. You can just say we've worked with competitors, like we've worked with several companies, including some competitors that you wouldn't believe were looking at each other's prices, and it really worked out for the market quite well. If you want to. If you don't want to say something like that because you don't want to burn bridges, what you say instead is we've worked with companies that are we've worked with some of the biggest competitors in the world when it comes to the e-com and digital space businesses around the world. Some of these, if we mention their names, you would flip out. But unfortunately, as what we do is shrouded in secrecy and giving you a little bit of an upper hand in business, we found like all our clients, including yourselves if you join, are subject to an NDA. In fact, turn that whole process of NDA giving as a selling point. That is the selling point. Thank you. I'm going to do the zoom in again. Sorry, it's just going to happen. It's like,
here we go. Do it. Oh, dun, 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 dun.
Sorry, this is one of those moments. It's a dramatic thing. The dramatic thing is what you do is you switch the NDA around. You actually tell people, look, we have every one of our clients that comes in has to sign an NDA. The reason is because it guarantees complete secrecy and, more importantly, discretion when you look through exactly what's happening at your competitors and seeing how you can price your products accordingly. Because of the nature of what we do, everything is very much kept hush-hush and behind closed doors. And due to this, we make sure that every one of our members and software users has to go through an NDA process. That right there is exclusivity.
That just happened right now, right here. Member Spotlight. Thank you for dropping that. And I wanted to say, okay, and check this out. Not only was that valuable, but the email sequence was valuable. He said we have no email sequence. And so adding that, yes. And so please, Adrian, hopefully that does inspire you to call to action, and also brings you, by the way, a lot more customers and revenue, because at Sales Ascenders, we're always relevant because we're always focused on revenue, building revenue systems, which sometimes is, looking at all different types of parts of the business, right? Delivery, retention, etc. But it starts with sales, and it starts with a good prospecting, great copy, because copy are words that sell, and that's what we're covering here today. Let's see what everyone says. Oh, here you go.
A little bit of British humor there to get me. I loved it.
That's awesome, man. Adil, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, and just being so willing to spend your time, your brain, your skills, your effort, your love, and pour that creativity into all of us Sales Ascenders here in this group. You guys heard me said it earlier. If you guys and girls, professionals, sales, marketing professionals, business owners, reach out to Sean or myself if you want to be on the member spotlight and share other value. Because we know there, guy, we have personally reached out to every single one of you, literally, and we know there's so much talent in here, and so it's our goal to connect us all, because we don't. Some of you probably are doing it alone. Please stop that immediately. We used to do that, but we got plugged in. We started getting connected. We want to provide that connection and relationship amongst all of us. We can work together, go bigger, faster, farther. So before we close that out, I wanted to ask, what is the big free? Well, first of all, where can people find you?
Oh, okay. Easiest place to find me, like my stuff, adilamarsi.com, my website, yay. Or you can find me on Facebook, which some of you have added me, so hello there. And if I have hit my 5,000 person friend limit, which I'm close to again, so I've got to do the little birthday delete stuff where I don't want to say
House
happy
cleaning.
birthday to you. I'm not saying, if I don't want to wish you a happy birthday, you shouldn't be on my friends list. Let's just put it that way. That's the way I think. I don't want to say happy birthday, you should leave. So it's a nice way of doing it because it's quiet and it means we went. And I always check when was the last time we spoke. If it was like, oh, we spoke fairly recently, I'm like, okay, keep them on. It's fine.
Mom, you can stay.
Like,
You can
someone I
stay.
haven't spoken to in like 9 years. I'm like, our last message was not responded to by you, so unfriend. Like,
Good day.
Good day to you, sir. The other thing is find me on Instagram under Adil Amarsi. The good news about being me is I have this name like right here, or I'm gonna try and point this out like right there. It's really fucking confusing because like it's left hand,
Nailed
right,
it.
like
It's
just
back.
there,
Yeah.
yeah, there. That
Yep.
that
See, I got it
name,
backwards already too.
yeah,
It's
exactly
hard.
right, left hand. Um, if you Google me on anything, you will literally find me on it because I own almost all domains that have my name on it. So like we have facebook.com/Adil Marcy or my personal, which is Adil the Awesome. Yes, that is my actual Facebook handle is Adil the Awesome. I am a child, if nothing else. You can
That's
find
so
me on
good.
Instagram at Adil Amarsi. Please, if you have any direct messages that you want to send to me and you can't send them to me via Facebook, send them to me on Instagram. It goes directly to my phone. No other, except for probably LinkedIn. But I don't really use LinkedIn. I don't really check LinkedIn as much. So you can add me on LinkedIn or on Instagram or on Facebook or on YouTube, which is just adilamarsi.com/YouTube. We're going to be dropping a crap load of info there because I do my Think Like a Copywriter series that's being uploaded all to YouTube right now as
So
well.
cool.
So yeah, that's basically it. You can find me in a lot of places. Come say hi. I'm pretty cool. I can apparently I can help people. And if I can help you further, reach out. I'm always here to help. If you have questions, comment below. I will find ways of responding back to them.
That's awesome. And when all these connections start happening and you continue on in your journey, what is the impact that you're looking to make in the world?
Ooh, okay. So really long term, like next 10 years, I actually want to have my own orphanage, like in a series of orphanages out in East Africa where I was born to help kids that have either lost their parents to HIV, either they are HIV positive themselves, or they're just very hungry and starving and just need somewhere like safe to go to. So I want to fund this with my business. And make sure that we can feed a bunch of kids. I mean, like the good news is like we can teach those kids entrepreneurial skills and have the teachers have entrepreneurial skill sets so
Hmm.
they can turn it into a not self-fulfilling but self-funding orphanage, which is what I want. And then eventually I want to build like a big garden there, so it's like self-funded and uh what's the word, self-contained, no, it looks after itself. Basically it's a self-fulfilling place. It makes sure that the food is there. You make money off of everything. It's kind of like really, really well done, and people don't suffer. People have a great time. That's like my long-term vision of what I want to do.
That adult, that is awesome. Just like you, and I just thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for coming and hanging out with all of us. You guys, like, there's so much talent and there's so much vision. You guys are all awesome people. Adil, we love you. Thanks, man, for coming out. And I know this won't be the last time that we talk.
Oh, I hope not. I love being here. Thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me on.